to another episode of Civil Lining Nation. And today I have my friend Salim. And guys, the great thing about Salim is that I met him when I was out marketing, trying to get subscribers for Civil Lining Nation. And I made a new friend, y'all. And you know how much I love making new friends. And Salim and we were talking about alcoholics and addicts, and I asked Salim, would he be on Civil Lining Nation? And he said yes. I'm going to let Salim take over and tell you about his experience with dealing with people like myself, addicts and alcoholics. By the way, Salim is not an addict or alcoholic, but he has dealt with people like myself, and he have helped them get into some type of rehab. So welcome, Salim.
Thank you so much. My name is Salim. Actually from Tanzania, East Africa. So there was a time that I've been working with people on recovery, and still even now I'm still working with stigmatized groups. Those also like including people still who are on recovery and other um, stigmatized people in the community. So, but deeply in the recovery area, I've worked with different people in the sober house and in the community who are still in the community. Others are still in the program. Um, and what I did actually, because I was working from the university, so we had a program that supports the recovery centers. So what we did that time, we were taking students to volunteer on those houses, on those other different recovery centers, and giving out services, social workers, because these are social work students from the university. So they'll at least have one day in a week, they go there and they volunteer. And that gave me a chance to, interact. And because I was supervising the project, so it gave me the chance to interact and, know deep about addiction and recovery and all that. It actually changed my perspective completely about that issue because, oh wow, like it really, like it changed not just my perspective, it changed my entire life, I would say, because I realized it's a very um, it's a very interesting thing to know, and it's something that the community has not really understood what exactly it is.
Yeah.
What's exactly the issue is, where exactly the problem comes from. That's the sad part. So people have a different way they view it, but if you go deep into it, you see like it's very different, and there's a lot of work needs to be done in the community for people to understand what exactly this is. And it's a disease, and it's not something that people choose to, just get into it and have fun. Maybe that's how other people see it, but it's really a disease, and we need help. And so yeah, so it was interesting. It changed my mind, and it made me change my whole my whole way of seeing life. And because this is how I see life now, I see life that as a connection. So we need to, as a community, people needs to be connected. People needs to have empathy to one another. People need spaces to share and speak about themselves, without feeling be judged or anyhow, because that's where the problem comes. Because once you feel disconnected, once you feel you're different, you take yourself out,
Yes.
and when you take yourself out in the community, you still have to belong, you still have to connect. So to do that, because it's hard for you to connect, because you already feel some kind of way, you distance yourself. But when you need to be connected, that's when sometimes you pick up a substance and use, so you can sit in a place confidently without you know that I don't
Without
belong
being judged.
without being judged. You know, like you don't belong there, but because you already have substance, so
Yes,
you go
yes.
there like and feel confident,
Yes.
and you feel like like who you are. You speak your mind and you do everything, but you can't do that sober. So that's where I think that's where the problem comes from. So, but if we could have spaces that people feel belonged, people feel connected, I think the addiction problem would at least be not be as that how it is now. So the main problem that comes with addiction, I came to realize, is disconnection in our communities. So yeah, so that's how I feel, and that's like how that's how my life changed with that, because now I'm more into connection. I'm more into connection.
So when I met you that's how we clicked, y'all. I met Salim and I came to his workplace and I asked him to subscribe. And I started talking to you, and I think we were speaking for like at least 30 minutes, right?
Yeah.
And we had this connection that I explained to you. I've never had a connection with someone that was I call normie, that understood what I was talking about. And he did, y'all. He understood about some of the words that I was using about the disease. And we clicked, and I told him, I asked could I interview him, and I went back this week. And I was just impressed with how much empathy he had for the addict and alcoholic. And to know that you've dealt with students, and the students that you would take to the sober living places, were they in the disease themselves?
No.
Did they have it?
No.
Okay.
They didn't have the disease.
Okay.
They didn't have the disease. And it's very interesting as well, like, because the first day they go into the project, they're all like wow, because I'll say this, I came to realize we're very blessed people as human, and we are very blessed. And the moment you get into the sober house, and get it, because we were going there from morning, so we were there like sitting during the feeling sessions and all. We were, like, involved in the entire program of the sober house on that day. So the first thing you experience is the feeling session. So when you get into that room, and experience like how people free they are, free sharing their feelings on that day, and
their honesty,
sharing their honesty, that level of honesty, you can get it outside. You can really get that totally outside. Different. So whoever gets into that room, my students and even myself, and you experience that, you're like, wow, like this is so profound, like, because you can get that outside. You feel free, you feel belong, you feel like you can share whatever that you feel without being judged or anything, and you're all together. People pay attention to what you say. And they give you, they don't give you feedback, but at least you can see the concern,
And if someone has that experience, or whatever you're going through, they will share it. They will let you know, this is how I got through it.
Yes.
And that's the beauty part of it.
Oh my God. So whoever goes into that, whenever they leave, they're like, wow, like this is so profound. Like, this is what I need. I feel like I belong here. Like, I like this. I just want to continue doing this. I didn't know this is how it is. So all my students are very happy being part of it. Awesome. They work entirely, because they're like a 1-year project. Like, we are doing it mostly for the third year student. So it was 1-year project, but whenever like they finish, they just want to do it more and more. Others even they have like
even now, when the program's over with, they still want to continue it.
Others they even started their own project with that.
Awesome.
Yeah, to continue helping and being part of the community. So it's very interesting. once we experienced that, it completely changed our mind because the program itself, um, I think it's very deep, that we all need, because we all suffer from something. You know what I mean? We all
Yes.
suffer from
We
something.
were talking about that other day, you
Yes.
and I.
So it's, it cannot maybe not be alcohol, but it can be
It's
something
something.
else. You know what I
Yes,
mean? So we
yes.
all have something. So other people in denial, like they don't want to say, like, they
Yeah.
think maybe the normal, they're
Nobody
perfect.
wants to say that there's something wrong with them.
And that's scary part. The
Yes,
scary
yes,
part, because
it
if we
is.
don't heal ourselves, that's when we also become some kind of a problem in our community.
Yeah.
Because we all have to heal from something,
Yeah.
to create a better community. So if we're trying to run away out of that,
Yes,
that's
yes.
where we have all these mass shootings and all these other things.
All the worldly things.
Yeah.
I think what the 12-step does, and let me back up, the recovery rehab centers that you're going to, did they teach the 12 steps?
Yes, they follow the program.
I love that. So for me, what the 12-step does, I've never wanted to be a bad person. I've always wanted to change.
Yes.
But I didn't know how to change.
Yeah.
So when I came into the 12-step room and I started to work the 12 steps, what it provided me with was I call it a blueprint, something a guide to follow. And it's something that I have to consistently do every day. It's instead of me just saying I want to change and not have something to guide me. That's what the 12-step does. Yeah. When you get off, we call it the beam, we can get back on by saying, okay, I need to get back and start working my steps. And that's what it holds me accountable. And I like that you're saying that the recovery centers and the rehab, whatever you want to call it, that they were using the 12 steps there as well.
Yes.
And that's what you're seeing, people that are being honest, because that's what the 12 step teaches us. It teaches us accountability, and it also teaches us to be honest. And that's how we heal.
And it's very powerful because I've seen that. I personally, so I've been engaging with different people, and I see the kind of healing you can get from the program.
Yes.
and maybe the outside knowledge, I would say. Oh my God! Because the honest level, first of all, the honest level that you can get from the program, it's so deep. And it's so helpful. I used to be this kind of a person. I used to be someone that it's so hard for me to speak up. It's so hard for me to engage with people.
I would never think that.
I was that. I'm so surprised. Like I can even sit down with you now and have this one-to-one and really talk about myself and all that. I was very what is it? I was so introverted. Like I just so into myself, and my feelings and everything is just me, like in my own space all the time. But I met a friend that took me out of this. This friend of mine was like texting me like 5 a.m. in the morning, asking me what do I know about sunrise. What is sunrise means to me, and I was like I have to reply back, I have to reply back to that person. And this different things, like this person was really like challenging me with different things. And that awakened that spirit in me of me trying to take out my thoughts and my feelings.
That's the meditation.
It really helped me to speak out. And this person really helped me to really helped me to have that knowledge on myself and have that confidence on myself to speak out to people and share my feelings without being fearing of judgment or anything like that. And these are not like simple questions. Like this person was asking me hard questions. Like
she was getting deep.
Yeah. So my mind was like always awakened with something. My mind was always in thoughts of something. So that's how it is. Like the honest part, like it really helps us to, it really helps us to be able to challenge ourselves and speak out and, really being who we are. That's like what maybe probably we lack in the community. Like most people, we really don't know who we are.
Yes.
We really don't know what we need, and we really don't have spaces for us to speak out. I was so glad. I was actually like thinking about this past 2 days when you told me that we want us to do this, because having these platforms, it really helps people to have spaces to share their thoughts, and to also hear from somebody else, because we do this and we never know like who is going to watch this. And the community has the shame is so big that shame and fear, and it tells us that we're different. It tells us saying that we don't.
It separate us.
It separates us. Like, so you feel like you don't belong. You feel like maybe you're so different. Maybe you feel like you cannot fit anywhere. That's what shame tells us. So, but when we have spaces like this, like people talk, people open up about who they are, share their feeling and all that. We never know who watches us. You never know who listens to this. And so it connects us for somebody else to feel that, oh, I thought maybe this is like I was weird.
I was the only one.
I was the only one.
Yes.
But I'm not, I wish I could. I was thinking like, I wish I could have this while back in those days where I was going through my own things, I wish we could have as many platforms as we have now as how it was before. It could have really like probably maybe, I don't know, like helped
change
me.
Lives too.
Yeah,
it changes lives.
Yeah, it really does. It really does. Yeah.
To see people, oh, well, I can relate to what that person said. You don't even have to look like that person. It's about the message that they're delivering that you can relate to. That's what Civil Lining Nation is about. To say that you're not alone. That it's a we program. We're in this together. And we can get through whatever it is that we're going through. That's what it's about.
That's very nice.
That's
very,
what it's
very
about.
Nice. Very, very nice. I'm so happy for you. And
I love talking about recovery with you. And it's just, it blows me away that usually I don't connect with people that aren't in the program to discuss get into in depth the way I get in with you with discussing it. It's like that's unusual for me, y'all, because usually that doesn't happen. And
I know.
It's like it's just so powerful.
I know.
The 12 step is the 12 step itself is, we always say about it being a spiritual program. And Salim, what you're describing is exactly what we say about the program. It is a spiritual program. And that's what happens. The right people connect and you receive exactly what it is that you're supposed to receive. It's how often would someone like you and I meet, and have this one thing in common. You being a non-alcoholic and me being an alcoholic. How did that happen? That's what I'm saying, y'all, about the spirituality of this program, things like this happens.
Yeah.
I even did a short video. I think you said you saw it.
Yeah.
Because I was so excited and I was telling the viewers, I was like, I met the most amazing people today. And we chatted and we had the best conversation.
Yeah.
And then when I came up a couple of days, you said, yeah, you saw it and you knew I was talking about you.
Yeah.
How often does it happen?
Oh.
That's weird, right?
Yeah, it is. It is. But I'm a like personally, I'm a believer of connection, as I said before. I love connection. I love having spaces for people to feel that they've been heard, and you know, I like to also allow myself to create space for other people to feel that they can come to me and I can see them. You know, so because I train myself to do that. Maybe not train myself, but I've tried to make myself that, and I feel that energy allows other people to respond to that
and feel comfortable. Yeah, because I did.
Oh yeah, thank you. Thank you. I'm glad you did.
Glad you did. I mean, usually before the program, I might have met you and I would have said, you know, I'll be back, but I wouldn't. Because this program teaches me to do what I say.
Yeah.
And say what I do. And I come over in that area quite often. I live like an hour or something away from where you work, but my meetings are over here. And I also come over there a lot. But I still, back in the day when I was drugging and drinking, I wouldn't have stopped because you've already subscribed to me and I've gotten what I wanted from you. But I was like, I made a new friend and I want to make sure that I nourish that new friendship.
Yeah.
So that was important to me.
Thank you so much. I'm glad you did that.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because then I was telling Salim that we want to go to Africa. So so I can pick his brains about the places.
You should definitely visit Tanzania. It's a very nice place.
Yeah, I'm excited about that.
Yeah. And there's a lot to learn as well.
Now, do they do recovery, or do you know, over where in your hometown? Is there any 12-step programs? Do they?
A lot.
Are you involved when you go home?
Not as much recently, but I've been involved. As I told you, I've been involved in a lot of recovery programs, and so I know people. And yeah, I've been involved, and I even now, like, I still have connection with some of the people that's still on the program back in Tanzania.
Is it well received there?
Yeah, it's well received. It's well received, but because I haven't really like gone so deep into it, and the program also, you know, it's a closed program. Like, so I wouldn't say much about it, but from what I see outside and how maybe I think the awareness is not as much. For people.
Not as
I
much
don't think most people
States.
Yeah, not as in the States. I think most people are not aware of the program. Yeah, they're not aware of the program. The sober house also, like, people starting realizing that there's recovery centers that somebody can go to for alcohol or drug or whatever. Like, it's just recently that people started being aware that there's this thing exists that somebody can go and get help.
So do they not? I'm just asking you this. I don't know whether you know the answer. Do they not, like a lot of us over here in the U.S., don't consider it a disease? Is that what your opinion would be? That is something that you can control.
Yeah, that's the mind of a lot of people. I think in the world, not just in US. Or the mindset of a lot of people. Like I think people now it's time need to see differently. This is like a disease. It's not like it's a disease.
It is a disease.
Yeah.
It's not something that
Yeah.
we're just doing because we want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And knowledge is, like we always said, knowledge is power.
Knowledge is power.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the awareness needs to, we need to increase the awareness on this. People need to know that this is not something like people just do it. You know, the families that live with people in addiction and friends and everyone needs to know that this is a disease. And when they see somebody, they have to treat them as a person who needs help, you know.
As an ill person. That person is, he's actually sick.
Yeah. It's interesting we have harm reduction program in Tanzania.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's very nice because as a disease, not everyone, you know, it's somebody's like willing to get help or to be better, you know. You don't just go to somebody and tell them like, you know, you need to stop this and push them to stop. You know, it's something that somebody has to be willing to do. So having harm reduction program, it helps them to still use, but use in a safe way. You know, not getting other diseases out of that. You know, with those for those who inject or you know, be in a safe environment and things like that. So the harm reduction program really helps people who are still in use. You know, so you're not being told. I mean, I'm glad that the community sees that you're not being pushed to stop because it's not something that somebody will come to you because people used to be jailed for that.
Oh, they did jail them?
I think yes, there was a time that because they go around, they steal things.
Yes,
you know, they do this, they do that. So
and they didn't know what to do with them. So, and that happens here a lot too.
Yeah.
You know, instead of you put people in jail because they're doing alcohol and drugs, but really they need, a lot of times they need some kind of rehab, hospital. You know, it's a health thing.
So that's where the harm reduction program as well comes in.
I like
so
that.
They defend them and they put them in a safe environment to make sure that they get what they need. So instead of going on streets and rob people and do all these things, so they stay in a safe environment, they get what they need, and
awesome.
You know, they go on with life. They give them work to do.
Okay.
Yeah. So
it's
they do
similar,
small
is it
things.
similar to homeless shelters? Is it similar to that?
Homeless shelter? Yeah.
Okay. At least they are acknowledging that it is a disease and this is what we need to do.
But still, it's not as that much, I would say, in the awareness is not as that much in the community. You know, it's not as that because they have even this stigmatized language.
Yes.
You know, the names
that we have.
yeah, it's still there, and people are not aware. They're like, oh no, this is so a person, but you know, people don't like to be that way.
No, I remember I've been sober 14 years, and I think 2 years ago, that's when I know for sure 2 years ago, Silver Lining, we started this. And that's when I came out publicly and started. But there are still a lot of judgments. But for me, because I want Silver Lining Nation to be of service, I have to put out of my head what other people are thinking about me. Because that would put me in fear. And I won't want to do it. The fear would bring on the shame
and you're doing
that you were talking about earlier. It'll bring on that shame, and I can easily get there. So I have to be mindful that Silver Lining is bigger than me. It's bigger. It can't be. It's not about one person. It's about the people that I'm interviewing on. silver lining, that are telling their stories, that are
Yeah.
providing hope
Yeah.
for other people. That's what silver lining is about.
Mm.
And that's when that fear seeps in.
Mm.
That's what I have to remember.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
I know the consistency.
Yeah.
It's not easy. I know for 2 years to be doing that. And
Yeah.
in an area, I mean, looking at this, in this area, it's not easy. It's not
Yeah.
easy. Like you really have to push yourself to do that. So congratulations. You're doing so
Thank
well.
you.
I know
Thank
it's not easy. I totally understand that.
Well, as soon as that fear comes in, something pretty big happens. And that tells me, okay, you need to keep, that's a sign, you need to keep going. Like recently when I got, see, that's that ego thing, y'all. When we got the 1K, that was something that gave me hope to say, keep going, don't stop.
Yeah.
You know, I see the little miracles that I call
along
them.
the way. That's nice.
And I have to continue to recognize those when they happen. Because y'all, if I don't, that fear in the fear and the shame will overrule those things, and I can't let that happen.
Yeah. Yeah, that's very nice.
I can't let that happen.
That's very nice.
And plus, when I meet people like you, you know, and that's my hope. It's like, okay, this is meant to be, and this is why I'm meeting these people along my journey. So I love that. I want to go back to where your students. What made you guys develop that program? That was a good idea for these students. Why did you guys develop that program?
Because we realized there's a need. There's a need for that. Realized that there was not enough social workers working in the houses.
Okay.
So we saw that as a gap, and we said, okay, so the way to do that, we need to have social work, because we are in the university, and we have social work students, and we say, why don't we have the program for social work students to volunteer at least once in a week, so they can go in the houses and give help. And we actually worked with the Tanzania Association of Social Workers. So they also help to train the students and prepare them, and they also have their own program that they're also doing in the houses. So yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty much.
I like that. So, do other colleges have the same program?
No, that was only us. That was only us introduced it.
Yeah, I think that was a great idea for them to start a program like that, because the more people that are aware, it reinforces that, there's help out there, plus that it is something that we need to be aware of, because it is happening in our community. So I like that idea.
Yeah. That was a very nice idea. It was I'm still so proud of myself being part of that. We did a launch and we raised some amounts we were using it as well to give to students for like a transport fee. At least feed them while they're still in the.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So did you guys have any kind of follow-up where you could monitor and see the progress of the people once they got out of the recovery rooms? Were you guys able to follow up and see whether they stayed sober or what happened to them afterwards?
So we used to follow up on that through the house, because the house manager, I think, has that work. So they follow up on the not house manager actually. Once the moment they leave the house, they go on the program now.
Okay.
So they start attending meetings and all that. They get sponsors.
Yes.
So so it's the sponsors now. It's the program that now takes through the person who is already out of the house. So the house manager can follow up as well. But now, I mean, after leaving the house, I think they go somebody start being in the hand of the program. So they sponsor everyone that's follow up on them. Yeah.
That's awesome. I like that a college would take that initiative to do that.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Yeah. I'm so happy to be being part of that.
You should be. That's something amazing to say that you are a part of.
Yeah.
You know that, and just think of how many lives that you touching by doing that.
Yeah.
You know, like myself when I got sober, because I have my children and I have my grandchildren, all the lives that I touch because I'm sober. So just think of how many lives that you've touched by helping these individuals.
Yeah.
So I love that.
Yeah.
Especially once, like even in my program, like I have a sponsor. Then I sponsor someone, then they sponsor someone. It's like a chain and it keeps going on. And that's the beauty part of this program.
Yeah.
And that's the recovery part where we hold each other accountable.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about it.
Yeah.
I love that. Well, Salim, thank you so much
Thank you so much, Lorraine. I'm so glad that I've made it. I'm so happy to have this conversation, you know.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, I know we can go for hours and hours talking about this.
I know. I have the best. And I'm going to make sure I come up and see you and we can continue. Maybe we can do lunch or dinner or something. That would be amazing.
For sure.
Well, guys, I hope you've enjoyed this conversation just as much as I have. And I've learned so much from Salim. Thank you.
Me too.
And
Thank you.
Remember, guys, if nobody tells you today that they love you, heard from us here at Silver Lining Nation. We love you. Bye, guys.